Hi everyone, today we're gonna do our discussion forum 3, and I would like to cover how database we use and triggers can be used for production, which is a real issue for all organizations in the present and future in the digital age. Looking at data, but using views first. So we know, in fact, there are so many ways for people to view data. Instead of allowing users to directly view the entire table, they look at, and we also have certain limits on access. And that's really where security starts, of course. And you will see that not everyone in the system needs access to everything, but we will show you how that's done very cleanly. For example, an employee knows nothing, while a manager needs to hear a little more financial data. Views help us to sort those levels of access out and minimize duplication or work. In a practical terms, people have to see what needs to be sorted on that. This connects us back to the whole idea of data hiding, like sensitive informations like salaries, personal identifiers, or files and notes can be tucked away using views. So this saves unnecessary exposure and there's no risk of internal or external misuse of it. There's also the convenience of views that can bring things down so that SQL queries are less involved with long and simple SQL statements, but more easily presented using a predefined view. So we will increase usability and make security safe at the same time. Um, but views are not a clean solution to their own problems. When permissions are not properly set, the data won't end up in the view. So the views for data that are very complex at times, so then can affect the performance. So let's move on to triggers. Triggers are indicate an automating response to actions that are already in database, like inserting data, updating, or deleting data. To be effective, triggers not only control how systems are set up to see their process, but can also ensure that a data set prior to saving it is not used and that every bit of information is kept safe. The main way, therefore, so there are not a lot of security risk, controls, and security issues for not being able to do anything wrong with them on a database is based on its safety. So what these do is enforce the rule. And audit trail is simplified tracking what happens in the database, like who changed it, when it was changed, and how it was changed. The triggers can make the task automatable and predictable, but triggers have to be custom tuned very carefully. Existing too large or not fully testing can be delay the process or cause some issues. That's why it's particularly important to retain them to be efficient and focus them on something specific. On the on the one hand, that is a mix of the views and triggers that complement each other perfectly. As long as these implemented as a single piece of a system, they are at work in their own way. Um, Views control the view of how user access the data to ensure that you can only access certain data for certain situations and for the specific needs in the given role. Um, they have not exposed anyone to unnecessary exposure and protect sensitive information. In conjunctions, triggers are implemented for these the task themselves to be under control and how to ensure important rules are enforced. They can be used to automatically monitor changes, something which adds accountability and transparency. And they ensure structured and proactive postures to protect data, not dealing with problems after the fact, but proactively monitoring activities as soon as an issue happens, and then it keeps happening over time. In the end, views and triggers make for a safe and reliable database that doesn't break and does a lot of run better for many involved parties. So thank you for listening. Have a wonderful night.